Hats off to MAPS. These guys have been working tirelessly for decades to get MDMA therapy for PTSD approved. We may not be there yet. I have high hopes. But what you might not know is that they also conducted a study with people who had been diagnosed with a life-threatening illness and MDMA. This is John Saul's story. He was diagnosed with scleroderma, and MDMA changed his life. Check it out.
I've always been an athlete. I was a wrestler in college. So I grew up with a tough mindset, Just the more pain, the better you'll be. Somewhere along the way, I had sort of picked this path, and I was living a projection to please others. Please others, please my parents, please society. I had a tax problem, and I was in the wrong relationship. And, I was lying to myself about the magnitude of these problems that were stacking up, and my life's just completely going down the wrong path, with no idea this is happening. The pressure got so great that my immune system snapped and went sideways, and I got scleroderma. Scleroderma, your cells spit out too much collagen. The bad news is it gets in your internal organs, like if it takes out your lungs or your heart, your kidneys, you're just gone. There's no cure for it, right? And the kind I got took me down very hard and fast. Basically every day for 3.5 years, I woke up, feel like you have a red wine hangover, and you feel like you have a bad flu, and everything tightens up, your skin tightens up. I couldn't stand up straight at one point. And you have no stamina, so just going from the car to the house, or just walking through the house can get you winded, right? I thought, I'm screwed, man. The stats are just horrible. There was an article, Ecstasy Approved for Trial in Marin. I thought, that's interesting. I've never had MDMA, and I wonder what it does. And I did a little research on it and read about how they combine psychotherapy with it and what it does. And something just clicked in my gut and said, this is going to be very helpful for you. To get into the study, I had to have a clean urine test. Dr. Phil Wolfson said, John, you have to get off the opiates. Here's the tapering schedule. And I took the tapering schedule home. I looked at the clock. It was like 3 p.m. And I thought the last one I put in my mouth was 9 a.m. That's it. I'm not putting another one in my mouth. So I'd had, I think, maybe 8 or 9 meetings with them leading up, qualify for the study, going through the physical, them getting to know me, and I would just visit their house, and they would sit down with me, and they were super loving, just kind people, and they'd let me know, John, we'll know you better than anyone in your life knows you, by the end of the study, which is really cool. You schedule a dose day, which is you show up at 9:30 a.m. And I have trepidations. I'm just like lit up with like anxiety, and but also excited, First of all, after being in pain for 4 years, and feeling mentally and physically like dog shit, to feel that good is I think that's where the medicine really makes a big difference, because you can go, this is possible. You don't necessarily have to be on this drug, but just feeling this good is possible. You get blankets, blindfold if you want it, ambient music or headphones, and these 2 loving, caring people that are so good at what they do, and they let you just kind of disappear into your head for a while. And if it's time, they'll say, sit up, let's talk about this a little bit, and it's just like, I don't want to sit up, come on, sit up, let's talk about this. The most uncomfortable things, your financial situation, relationship, people in your life, whatever is on your list that you've made together. And you just talk about this stuff, and the topics are just sitting there right in front of you, and it's not uncomfortable at all. You don't even care. Your fear center and your amygdala is shut down from that medicine. And they're able to just go in there and do their work. It's a construction site, and they're in there just cleaning it up with you together. Ideas came to me in terms of how to fix these problems and what to do and how to pursue a new career of helping others. And it's kind of appeared to me as to how I would help people. I had an idea, which is a nonprofit that would create some tools to help people that get knocked on their ass like I did. And meanwhile, I put together every single angle that I could combat the disease. And it gave me some inspiration to buy a pair of running shoes and just try to trot for half a mile or a mile. And that run was just horrible. I mean, it felt horrible, but I got a little drop of the runner's endorphin after it. And my body just said, thank you. And it just sort of blossomed from there. I went back and got a national membership at a yoga studio. I do yoga every single day. Just walking this way. Something I've always wanted to do is to be a personal trainer, you know, and I got certified also to teach aerial yoga, which is a wonderful modality, especially since that modality helped me kind of unbind a lot of myofascial tissue. I can stand up straight. I'm super mobile compared to what I was. Absolutely being able to face whatever you're afraid of. Face the problems that have mounted up and just walk right into them. You know, maybe you can fix them, maybe you can't, but you start working on it. And that's what this MDMA therapy helps you tap into. Empathy for oneself, as one has empathy for humanity, is a key ingredient. If you can be empathetic and help a stranger, if you can do some small good deed or just lend an ear, you can do that for yourself too. And that's the hardest hurdle, I think. I think there's going to be 300 spots around the country where someone with PTSD can get into one of these studies and change or save your life.